ready.
Unfortunately, not very often. Today. So after work, remember, the only thing over on the way over here, Rabbi Elvin spoke out a Sefer Chassidim that says that a person should always run to do mitzvahs like the mitzvah of a mace mitzvah, because those are mitzvahs that people don't want to do. So he says, L'moshel, it's kedai to learn. People say, what's geschmack to learn? Noshim, it's geschmack alum, the shemesechtes, moed, geschmack mesechtes. But people don't like to learn moed cotton, he said, and people don't like to learn perak mishamesa, mutalafanov, because they think that it's like a bad sin. So those are the programs you would have to learn, because those give you the most char. So that's what we're learning now. Okay, mi shemesa mutalafanov. If someone has his mess that he's responsible for in front of him, and what makes him unique? So Rashi says, "Levishu tored b'machshavas kfurasai, v'abedumlia the chosin the pater mishum tir the mitzvah." So a person who has his mace there in front of him, pater mi krishma, he's pater from krishma. It's a shaila. The Bach tells us to take out. The Bach tells us to take out uminat tefillin. Uminat tefillin. The Bach tells us to take out uminat tefillin. So pater mi krishma uminat tefillin. When we call mitzvahs hamurais b'torah. Now the Rishonim speak out of that the main halacha that we're talking about here is the B'tor of Krishma. Tosfos even brings down a different svar. Why? Tosfos says, B'Yushamim Mefarish Taima, the second Tosfos, Amar Abun Ksiv Lan Tiskar, Yossi Simon Kol Yimei Chayecha, and we learn from there is Yomim, Shata Oisik B'Chayim, V'Loi Yomim Shata Oisik B'Meisen. So we dash in the pasuk is that when are you supposed to be Isaac in Krishma? That's when you're being Isaac in Chaim, not when you're being Isaac in Mesim. So there's a special tour of Krishma. And Tefillin, or Tefillah, if you garnish it in Tefillin in the Mishnah, is only mentioned Agav Archa because it's a regular mitzvah that you're pater from. And the raya is that we're talking more about Krishma than about Tefillin, is because it should really say Tefillin first, because you put on Tefillin first. Yet the Mishnah put it later because the focus here is on Krishma and the reason why you're pater from Krishma. When we call mitzvahs hamurais b'torah, and you're pater from all mitzvahs. Noisei amita, and this is, and I guess the primary reason is because he's also b'mitzvah, he's also in the mitzvah of Kura. Noisei amita, the people who are carrying the mita, v'chilufein, and those people who will take their places, because Rashi says that everyone wants to have the schus of carrying the mita, and because of that, the schus is shared. People take turns. V'chilufein, and the people who will switch with the people who switch, es shalafnei mita, those that are before the mita, es shalachar mita, and those that are already after the mita. And Rashi says shenasu kvar, they have already had their chance. They're all pater. Es shalafnei mita, those that are in front of the mita, meaning that they're next on line or their turns will be coming up. Then tzorech b'am turim. If they're needed, they're pater. And those that are behind, which means they carry already, even if it needs them, they're chayiv. Rashi tells us, this says, even if they're needed, they're still chayiv, which is a little bit difficult to understand, because if they're still needed, then they still have their mitzvah. So because of that, just the taich of the Mishnah is hard to read. Let's look at Tosfos. Hachi garis, Rashi. Rashi is garis like what we just read. Shalach amita, afilu amita tricha lahem chayavin. Why? Levisha la'olam haloi ha'yurigir l'naseis. Because they're not going to be carrying again. Shekvar nasu chelkam. V'tevik sas vek Tosfos. V'tevik sas aloshin. It's hard to say that that's what it means. Even if the meat doesn't need, even if the meat needs them, they're still pater. Because they're not going to be carrying the mace at all once they had their turn. The kach near kagir says firm. It doesn't make a difference if they carried yet or if they had not had their chance to carry the mita yet, regardless, es shamita tricha lohem is paturin, which is a much simpler approach that we'll understand. Everybody's patur from tefillah. Rashi says, because it's lav deraisa, and one pshat, and Rashi says another pshat is because they still have time. Although Rashi doesn't like that lashon, because the lashon patur doesn't mean later, it means not at all, right? Cover us a mace. What happens after the cover of the mace? The chazru, and now they came back, meaning, so they finished the kfura, and now their next responsibility will be to stand in the shura after they bury the mace. Correct. Well, that's a shiloh. It's a shiloh.
It's any different than those that are not needed. Those that are not needed are
right.
So those that are not needed are people that are standing. So they should be put in the tefillah. So why does it take out the
I'm not sure why it's taken out. I don't know. I don't know why it's taken out. Yeah. I'm not sure why it's taken out. I was just mentioning it. The Bach takes it out, and I don't know why. Okay. So now they finished the kfura, and now the Avelim are going to walk out of the basic kfuras, and they usually make two rows that the Avelim walk in between, and everyone says, I'm walking Menachem Eschem. And now what happens is that the fellow was involved in the kfura, and it's already 9:30, the quarter to 10 in the morning, and it's about to be Zman Krishma, and he thought, I didn't say Krishma yet, so could he say Krishma quickly before they form that line? So if he can quickly say Krishma before people get into the rows, Yaschilu, they should go. He should start saying Krishma. If not, he shouldn't say Krishma, because I guess standing in the shur is also part of the mitzvah. Now, if you have a courtside seat, so you're right there at the front, then Peturim. But if you're the second or third or fourth row, you're back there, so you're up in the bleachers where you freeze at the MetLife Center, you're way back over there, so then Chayavim, you're still Chayiv, because you're not part of the mitzvah, you're not to realize. If you're in the box, if you're in the box, I wasn't courtside either. If you're in the box, then for sure you're punter. But if you're only one of the riffraff up there, we don't look at you. Welcome back. Welcome back to the warmth of Toronto. Welcome back to the warmth of Toronto.
How long does the levaya take? It's not as if you start the first thing in the morning and end at
it sounds like the
so why didn't you done before?
Yeah, why not?
Why is it Krishma before?
Yeah, you can do that. It takes 1 minute to say Krishma, right? So let's say it takes 2 hours. There's still time before and after. So
that's why you
they weren't that far either. Just walking while you're walking, say Krishma. Lech Rabadera.
I guess we're in a tight spot over here.
What does cleaning mean? Anyway.
So there could be multiple rows. I think the first row, the row that have the AMC.
It sounds like the lesson itself is, maybe that's more than it is in the hearse.
It's not just from the hearse. It's not just from the hearse to the Mcgillvray. It's the whole way.
All the people carrying it, people who take over from them, take over.
That's right.
So it sounds like it's not just one more than just 20 feet or 100 feet.
You hear Shmuel saying they didn't have hearses in those days. Yes, so it was a big deal. Being part of the Cheder Kedusha was hard work in those days.
So
it was still hard work. It was hard work.
Basically all morning. It was a full day.
I guess so.
There.
You're talking about rows deep, but also if the row is long, the guys at the end.
No, I thought they walked through the whole thing.
They do. But if the guy's standing here, even though he's the first one, and the Velim is going to see him, by the time he gets to him, he has time to say it too.
Could be also, yeah. It could be also. That's right. Zok tehelu gemara mutal lefanav in v'she'einu mutal lefanav loy. So if the mess is not right in front of him, fresh, he's going Hu b'veis echad, v'ameis b'vas acher. If he's not in the same place as the mace, but he still has the responsibility to bury the mace, are you telling me that he's chayiv in Krishma? Or mini? I'll show you otherwise. Misha Mesoi. Now the Gemara is going to bring a long brisa, but the raya is only from one little line. Misha Mesoi Telefonov. The halach is oichel b'bayis acher. He should eat in another house. And Rashi says, because if you eat in front of the mace, it's loig l'rosh. It's similar to eating a geshmaka pastry in front of someone that's on a diet. It's loig l'rosh. V'm'ei loy bayis acher.
Excuse me, the loig l'rosh is the other way. The guy who's not eating is mocking the guy who's
That's the liberal victimhood. That doesn't work the way. Sagt Gemara weiter. V'm'ei loy bayis acher. If he doesn't have Punk doesn't have another villa in Miami, if Punk doesn't have that, then oichel b'bayis chaverei. Then he eats in his friend's home. So it doesn't say why, either because he doesn't have a chaver or his chaver doesn't either have a house. He just said b'bayis chaverei. I don't say b'meinei chaver. Right? Then oisa mechitza for oichel in his own home. He makes a mechitza to separate between himself and the meis lolenu, and then he can eat. V'mein loy davar lasos mechitza. What if he doesn't even have anything to make a mechitza out of? Then what he should do is machzer panav oichel. He has to turn around and eat in a different direction.
Can't go outside.
I guess that wasn't even a consideration that someone would eat outside. There we just learned that somebody was praising the Persians. We learned that somebody was praising, it was a Byzantine, we just learned that somebody praised the Persians because when they eat and do other things, they're very tzniistic. We had it a couple of lot ago because they ate in a very tzniistic way. And even Rashi speaks out there that that was the only thing he liked about the Persians because they really were not good, but they happened to have eaten with tznius. Chesem and Beis? Shkoyach could tell me I would have been missing forever. So what does it say on Chesem and Beis? You know where it is?
yeah, right there. You have your finger on it. Snuin b'achilasan with snuin b'beis hakisei.
Oh,
It's like a Google search.
no, it's Chesem Aleph. Oh, it's Chesem and Beis? Chesem and Beis, I'm not Chesem and Beis. So I don't think, one second.
They're right below it.
You're on Tevet Aleph. I'm not sure why you're pointing there. You're confusing me.
Right there. Yeah, there you are.
So I guess it's not sneezing to eat outside. Okay, that's the Gemara weiter. One may not eat basar, or one may not drink wine. And they don't bench. So they don't have to make the Brachos emoji, they're part of the mitzvah. So again, someone who's Mesa Mutlafolev does not make Brachos Hamazon. I'm getting tangled up over here. A second. Okay, I'll just say.
Yeah, where's it going on? Where's the colon?
I think it's deliberate as a Mesa whose whose responsibility is to take care of it.
There's an issue of being taking care of the man.
Oh, you're talking about the eating?
Yeah.
Oh no, the eating I think is only the onion. Yeah, no, I think it's just the onion.
It's what?
I think the eating issue is only the onion.
So then it's not an issue of comparison. It's not an issue of doing it. It's an issue of you're preoccupied with care of the man.
So you're right. So as you're talking to me, yeah, if it's a loyal rush pastures, it should be anybody then.
So how is that analogous back to Shema? An oinen is not to Shema. Why? Because he's busy with the base.
That's correct.
So then why should I hold it? So then once you're...
So the mission is like going off on a tangent. I mean, the Brachos is going off on a tangent.
Is that what it's... Is this price analogous to the Mishnah, or is it something...
It's asking on the Mishnah.
It's asking on the Mishnah.
No, it's asking on a mission, but as far as the fact that it talks about a different subject, I think it's a different subject. Like what you're saying, I think you're right. You're what you're saying. He's saying the Brachos is sort of going off on a tangent. Our Mishnah and the beginning of the Brachos is talking specifically about Krishman mitzvahs that he's parted from because he's mechuyev to be oishik mace. Now we're speaking about a new thing, things that aren't supposed to be done in front of a mace.
Right. I was just wondering, where is the kohen? Is this all related to people who's sitting in the same room and turned his head? And that's why he can't be mason and he can't be busser behind. But if he went into another house, he could?
It almost is a little bit back and forth. Is that everybody? Or that's just oval?
No, but is it only mason looking in front of mamish? I think that's where the Bryce is going.
That's right.
He's going to ask against that.
Right. That's part of what the Brachos is trying to bring from it, even if it's not in front of him. But there's different reasons. There's different reasons for the things that are listed in this Brachos. Then mevarchen alav, and people don't have to make a bracha for him. B'berachas alachem. They mizamin alav, and he cannot be mitzaref to a zimun. Upater mikrishra min atfila, and he's part of krishma from tefillah. Umin atfilin umikol mitzvos hamosh b'torah. Ub'Shabbos, on Shabbos meisa v'oichel basar. On Shabbos he could lean v'oichel basar v'shoyse yayin u'mevarech u'mezamin u'mevarchen alav u'mezamin alav v'chayiv v'chol ha'mitzvos hamuros b'torah. On Shabbos he's chayiv in all the mitzvahs, and he has to act like a regular person. He has all the chiyuv of a regular person. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer, one difference. Once he's chayiv on all these mitzvahs, he's chayiv on all the mitzvahs. So there must be one thing that the Tanakama is leaving out. And Rabbi Yochanan said, "My beinayu." What is Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel adding? That according to Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, that will be potter. Potter mikrishma uminat tefillah uminat tefillin umikol mitzvot hamuros b'torah. So Rashi says va'afilu kishu oichel b'bayis chaverei. So you have here someone who clearly his mezoi is no longer mutar b'fanav, and he's still potter from these mitzvahs. So the Gemara says from our Mishnah it's mashma mutar b'fanavin v'sheini mutar b'fanav loi, that literally the mess has to be in front of him. From the Brachos we see that it's not literal. Once he has the chiyuv to bury this mace, and he's the owner, he has all of these Turim. Amar Papa, Tegema Amachser Pana V'Oichel. Say that the Brachos that says your potter, it's not referring to someone in a different house. It's referring to someone in the Mishnah, in the Brachos that says that if he has no other house, then he's Machser Pana V'Oichel, and only then do all these halachas apply. So if he's in another house, you can say that he doesn't have this chiyuvim. Amar Papa Tegema Amachser Pana V'Oichel. Rashi Omer, Kivon Shemuto Over Mcgillvray. Rashi says that once there's a responsibility for a person to bury a mace, Kamuto in front of Demi, that already is like it's in front of him. So in fact, it doesn't make a difference. If he's in a different house, he's also going to be part of all the mitzvah. Shenemar Vayakam Avram Me'al Pnei Mesoi. By the story of Ephron, it says Vayakam Avram Me'al Pnei Mesoi V'Daber B'nei Ches Lemar. Now, it's not logical to say that when Moshe Rabbeinu went to negotiate the purchase of that when Avram Avinu went to negotiate the purchase of the Ma'arish Machpelah, that he schlepped his mace along. He probably left the mace where it was, and then he went to negotiate. He didn't take the mace in to negotiate with him.
According to Rav Ashi, so is he allowed to eat in his friend's house?
Are you allowed to eat in your friend's house?
He's only for mitzvahs that he's put there? Is he like the Dvar Shus? Like if he wants to just go back on eating?
Well, the reason why Oishik Mitzvah put him in a mitzvah is because he's supposed to be Oishik Mitzvah, so he shouldn't be doing Dvar Shus.
I'm saying, because before we're saying he shouldn't eat in the mace. He's allowed, according to Rav Ashi, he's allowed to eat in his friend's house.
I mean, if he wants to eat, can he go to his friend's house to eat? If he doesn't have another place, I guess he's allowed to. I don't see why not. It doesn't say that he's not allowed to eat. Right? B'nei also says so even though when Avraham Avinu was not in front of his mace, he used the word when he was talking to Ephron as of ekper meisi b'lefanai, and I will bury the mace that's in front of me. Calls man shemuto of the kovrei kamuto lefanav dami. So therefore, what Avraham meant when he told Ephron that I'm going to bury the mace that was in front of me, it didn't mean the mace was literally in front of him. It meant it's his responsibility. meso in. So let's be like the davka if it's mesoi, meaning it's his relative. But but if you're just watching it, Rashi's Adamacher she'ena kreva l'mashamrei. So somebody else who's taking responsibility for the mace, but he's not actually a korev. It's mashma that he wouldn't be part of for mitzvahs. For Tanya we learned hamishamrei es a mace. Aval b'she'ena mesoi pater mikrisha uminat tefila umikol mitzvahs hamurish b'Torah. So the Gemara says mishamrei. Someone who's responsible for it, even though it's not his mace. Mesoi, but if it's his mace, so too the halacha applies if it's his mace, even though he's not watching it. Mesoi u'mishamrein, so it's mesoi that's going to pattern for mitzvahs. Mishamrei, someone who's responsible for it, again, he's going to be part of mitzvahs. But if you're just walking through the basic forest, then you are allowed to do all these things. You're archive. For a time, we learned in the Brachos, lo yahalach adam b'basic forest with tefillin b'reishai. A person shouldn't walk through the basic forest with tefillin on his head. V'sefer Torah b'zrei, and a sefer Torah in his arms. V'koyei, and reading. I'm not sure if it's talking about Krishma or any Torah. Reading from the Torah. V'im oisakain, and if he does do that, over mishum logo rush cherveseyu. So you see that it doesn't only apply doing mitzvahs. The prohibition of doing mitzvahs doesn't only apply specifically to someone who's involved in the kvur of a mace, or someone who it's his own mace that he has to take care of. Rather, any person who walks through the basic forest cannot do any mitzvahs in front of the mason because it's logo rush. So Gemara Hasam Toich Arba Amasu Aser. There the Brachos that says even walking through a basic forest is Aser. That's if you're within 4 Amos, Rashi says, then Aser Likresh B'Seich Arba Amos Shalei Mishum Regel Rush. Within 4 Amos of the caver, then it's Regel Rush. Chutz Arba Amos Chayiv. But I guess Mason are nearsighted. If you're more than 4 Amos away, then it's not considered Regel Rush.
It shouldn't matter if you're in the first row or the last row.
Because that's also low rush. That's a good point. Right, so it would be low rush, but maybe if you're in the last row, there's a mechitza in front of you. The people are in front of you. Could be. Right here. No, I hear what you're saying.
But there is a meaning within sight of the cave. Within sight.
So that's the Hashem Toich Arba Amos. So also Chut Arba Mischayiv. The Mamar Meis Tovus Dalar Amos LaKrishma. A mess only is Tovus Dalar Amos. She'asher Likos B'Toich Arba Amos Lo Mishum Lo L'Rosh. Aber Hacha Chutz Dalar Amos Nami Potter. Here, even out of the Dalar Amos, he's going to be Potter because he is Oisik in the mace. I forgot to mention today the Baal Tanya Yort site. Right? Today's Chazal. Today's about today's the Baal Tanya Yort site. Akiva wants to talk about it a little later. Okay, we'll talk about it later.
No, it's not embarrassed at all.
Gufa. Zog the Hele Gemara, the Gufa. Hameshamer es hameis. If someone, the Baal Tanya had a very persuasive ability, a very good ability to persuade people. I saw a story this week that the Baal Tanya was one of the Talmidim, was the youngest Talmud of the Mizritcha Maggid. Yet he took a very prominent role in spreading the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov. There was a Maggid, I think it was the Zlotch of a Maggid, there was another Maggid who was very against writing down the words of the Baal Shem Tov, having notes about the Baal Shem Tov, about the Baal Shem Tov's Torah. But the Mizritcha Maggid felt that it should be written down, I guess because otherwise people are going to forget it. So there was one day, I think it's the Zlotch of a Maggid came to visit the Mizritcha Maggid, and he saw a paper on the floor. And when he picked it up and looked at it, he saw that it was the Baal Shem Tov's Torah that somebody had written over. So the Maggid got so upset, and he said, "You see, I told you you shouldn't be writing the Baal Shem Tov's Torah, and now you wrote his Torah, and it's mutal b'gezoyin. You should have listened to me." And the Mizritcha Maggid was very hurt that there was a hakpeda on him from I think it's the Zlotch of a Maggid. So he didn't know what to do. So what he did was when the Maggid left, the Zlotch of a Maggid left, and he was going back to his city, he told the Baal Tanya, his youngest Talmud, do me a favor, walk along with him, and as you're walking with him, see if you could persuade him to accept what I said, that it's worthwhile writing his Torah, and it worked. The Baal Tanya was able to convince him. So it was known that the Baal Tanya had a very persuasive nature. And that's why he was given the responsibility to spread Chassidus, because they thought he would be able to convince the Olam to do it. And he did a good job. He did a very good job. That's right.
It's working well.
That's right. Zok to Gemara Gufa. If someone's watching the mace, Alpha Bish, so Schusa Yogan Aleinu. Gufa Meshaber SMS, Alpha P, She'ede Mace. So part of Mikrishma, Umunat Tefillah, Umunat Tefillin, Mikal Mitzvahs Amurish B'Torah. Hayu Shnayim. What if there were two people that were watching the mace together? I guess they were keeping each other company, but it's not like, or even when they're digging a grave, we learned that one person can take a break. So Zeh Meshamer V'Zeh Korei, V'Zeh Meshamer V'Zeh Korei. They take turns taking a break from their watch so that they could say Krishma. But what happens if Hayu Boim B'Svina? What if they were traveling with a mace on a boat? So Manichai B'Zavazu, they put the mace on one corner of the boat, and they can both daven. I guess we're going to soon see, because there's not a concern of anything happening to the mace, and therefore they can put the mace aside. My benayu. I'm sorry?
Stand 4 hours away.
Well, I guess they have to do a shiur. They're on the job.
You've seen the size of this
4 hours
boat.
away.
I mean, while we're davening. That means they're not davening properly.
You know that there's only two corners in a boat. Does this mean that it's...
There's three corners. There's two in the stern, one in the bow.
Oh, okay. I thought in those days you had a boat like this.
So maybe you put them on one end or the other end.
That's what I'm wondering.
I hear. What's the difference between what Ben Azai said and the first the Tanakama of the Brisa? The question is, do you have to be worried about mice that are in the boat that you have to chase away? So Rashi tells us Tanakama chayish lachbarim afilu b'svina. So even in a svina, only one person can daven at a time, because there has to be someone there to chase away the mice. But Ben Azai holds that you don't have to worry about mice in a boat. And that's a mice in Shahoya. I couldn't resist that. It was like right there. If someone is transporting bones from one place to another place. So this is talking about how to have the proper cover for a mace. And Rashi says a diskaya is a march of Gotel Shalar. It's a big container bag of leather. Don't put them into a container of hide and throw it on top of a donkey. And then sit on top of them. Because that is a bezoin. However, but if they're afraid of goyim that could do worse, list him, or for robbers, mutter. Then it will be mutter, because of course it's more covered for something to be protected than for it to be held in an honorable way. The same halacha that we're saying regarding the respect for Atzamais, the same thing applies to Sefer Torah. What halacha are we trying to say is a great chiddush that it applies even to a Sefer Torah? If it's on the Reisha, meaning that you're not allowed to put it on the chamor to sit on them, pshita, migar Sefer Torah metzomais, would you think that we have to have less respect for a Sefer Torah than bones? So tomorrow you're right, Allah Sefer, im hayim esiyari rechiv, Rashi says the chiddush is, even a Sefer Torah, if you're afraid of damage of goyim, you should put it on the chamor and sit on top of it to protect it. I'm not sure why that's also a chiddush. You think you should leave the Sefer Torah in danger, or could be you have to have betachin that since it's a Sefer Torah, nothing's going to happen to it. Why in Svarah is it a bigger chiddush that a Sefer Torah you can compromise on its respect if it's a question of safety? Would we actually think that you should compromise on its safety? So I was a little, I didn't understand this so much. Amar Rachva, Amar Rav Yehuda, Kol HaRoya Meis, Ve'einu Malaveyu. If one sees a mace and he's not malav the mace, the halach is over mishum lo yiglash cher feseyu. Again, if you make fun of a mace or you disregard the mace, it's like you're cursing the Rebbeinu Shalom. B'mhelveyu. And what if you are malav the mace? You do the mitzvah of voice of mace. Ma'aseh charei. What will the schar be? Rav Asi said, on such a person, the Torah says, Mal Hashem choinin dal, umechabdei choinin evyon. So Rashi says, Mal Hashem choinin dal, kribei melava es hamokim. We consider somebody as walking the Rebbeinu Shalom, as accompanying the Rebbeinu Shalom. Who do we consider that? Misha choinin es adal. Someone who does chesed with a poor person. You can't be any poorer than a mace. You can't be more poor than a mace. Right? There's the famous story with the Chavetz Chaim. A wealthy man said, how is it possible for Hashem to take away my money? I'm so diversified, in order for me to lose all my money, every market, every industry, every trade in every country would have to go down. And that's impossible. So the Chavetz Chaim said, you know what, you have a good point. The Rebbeinu Shalom cannot take away your wealth. You're an exception. But you know what he could do? He could take you away from your wealth. So a wealthy man who's not alive is no longer wealthy. Although there's a famous story with a fellow who he just yashined a lot of money, and so the Moshes, of course, jumped all over him to not let him breathe. So he told the Moshes, I'm sorry, I can't give you any money because I'm a maimin. So they said, what does being a maimin have to do with giving money away? He said, what are you talking about? I believe Tchias HaMesim will come any day. If my father comes back and sees that I gave away all his money, he'll kill me. So because of that, I can't give. They were walking along in the basic forest. Have a kashad yitchelto to Rabbi Yonason. Rabbi Yonason sitzes, his tchelas were hanging out. Omalu Rabbi Chia told him, Dalia, Rashi says, Hagbiyenu, pick it up. Don't let your tzitzis hang down. So that the Meshim shouldn't say, these people are walking, tomorrow they're joining our club, they're going to also die one day. And now they're making fun of us, they're cursing us. So if Yonason told Reb Chia, are Mesim so aware of what's going on in this world? It says in the pasuk, Mesim einam yodim u'uma. Mesim know nothing. So he told him back, I see you don't know your stuff. Im karisa, if you learned lo shanisa, you didn't chazer. Im shanisa lo shalashta, then you didn't learn it the third time. Im shalashta, and if you even learned it 3 times, then le perishaloch, nobody explained to you the pshat in the Indian. Ki achayim yodim sheyamusu. It says in the pasuk, Ki achayim yodim sheyamusu, va'meisam einam yodim u'uma, ve'ein oid lehem sachar ki nishkach zichram. So the Gemara says, Ki achayim yodim sheyamusu, elu hatzadikim shavemisoson nikru chayim. Tzadikim, they know that they're going to die, meaning while they're alive, they know they're going to die, and they act accordingly. They're careful to do mitzvahs because they're preparing for the next world. Shenemar, because it says, Uvnayo ben Yoyada, ben Ishchai. So the Gemara's Rai is going to be for the fact that they're referring to B'nayo ben Yoda as a ben Ishchai. He's the son of a live man. So the Gemara, so let's just finish the pasuk. Rav Payalim, Mikavtzel. What did he do? What was so great about him? We learned a couple of blot ago that B'nayo ben Yoda was the head of the Sanhedrin. So Huhika Eshnei Ariel Moav, he slayed the 2 Ariels of Moav, and Rashi tells us, and the Gemara is going to tell us, that means he slayed the 2 lives of the Beis HaMikdash, meaning in both Batim Mikdashim there was nobody that was greater than him. He went and he slayed a lion in a confined space, where it's hard to position yourself to fight, on a snowy day.
What does this have to do with a mace knowing what...
So the Gemara is going to say, Ben Ishchai. He was referred to, Ben Yehoyada was referred to as the son of a live man. What does it mean, Ben Ishchai? Atu Kula Alma, B'nei Meisininu. Is everybody else the son of a dead man? Everyone's alive. Everyone has to have a father who was alive. Ella Ben Ishchai, Shafilu B'misasai Koruchai. Even when he was nifter, he was still considered very much alive. Rav Pa'alam Mekavtzio, he was a great. He is someone who did great things from Kavtzio. Means Ksheriba, he was marba. He made many. The Kavatz Pa'alam Torah. So he created yeshivas and talmidim. So he developed a lot of talmidim. He didn't leave over anybody like him on his madrega. Loy b'mikdash rishon v'loy b'mikdash sheni. And what does that mean? Either he was a real Chassidish Yid, the Tover Gzizi, the Barda, the Nachas v'Tovel. He broke the ice, chunks of ice, to Tovel in the mikveh. Rashi says, Kidei Lasik v'Torah. They were makbid on Tfilas Ezra. And he wanted to learn, he didn't want to be makbid Torah. So he braved the ice to be able to Tovel so they could learn Torah. Ikadamri, the Tanis Sifra, the very Rav, B'yoyma, the Sisvav. He finished the whole Sifra, which is a big limud, in one short winter day. So clearly he was a massive Talmud Chacham, and he was unparalleled. But it says Ben Ishchai, which means that Tzatzikim Afilu B'Misasam Kuyim Chaim. Tosis goes into a long discussion whether or not we're supposed to put tzitzis on a mace. Whether they're tzitzis, we passel the tzitzis, which is how Tosis comes out l'maskona. But he had a whole shaila if you're supposed to have tzitzis. It's a very interesting discussion. I'll just rush through it very quickly because we probably it's 6:40. So we'll go back to it. He comes out that they put the tzitzis on, but they hide it or they passel it, which is what we do. Now we have very fascinating Gemaras. B'nei Rabchia, the children of Rabchia, Nafal Likriyasa, they went to town. Aikalu Talmudayu. I apologize. I apologize. What does that mean? Elu Rishayim Shebechayim Kruyim Mesim. Even when they're alive, they're considered dead. Shenemar Va'ata Chilel Rasha Nesi Yisrael. So it says Va'ata Chalal. It's Va'ata Chalal Rasha Nesi Yisrael. And that's the Navi, I believe, speaking to Tzidkiyahu, and he's saying your time is over. Your time is over. Rashi tells us that the Navi was telling the king, you did all your affairs, and now your time is up. But as a live person, he was referring to him as a halal. Means you're a dead man walking, your time is up. So you see that you could refer to a Rasha as dead, even though he's still alive. The dead man will die because of the Edim who say Edus on him that he did an Avera. Chayu, technically he's still alive, Ela Hameis Mikar. We consider him dead because he's going to be killed very soon. So you see Rishayim, even when they're alive, to consider Mason.
That's why you shouldn't walk around with
Pashas 2 and Pashas, and now we're going to get into a Gemara that discusses a practical application of such a situation. The children of Rabchia went to town. They forgot. What does it mean they went to town? So Rashi, they left Kayu and they went to do business. They went to do avodah on their nachla. They got into they went into the family business, and because they couldn't focus full time on learning, they forgot some of their learning. And they were straining themselves to try to remember, and they felt bad that they couldn't remember. So one brother told the other brother, do you think our father knows about this tzar that we're having? The This other brother told him, "No, yeah, how in the world could they know?" Faksiv yichabnu banov v'lo yeda. So once the children of someone who's no longer here, they don't know anymore. Amar idich v'lo yeda vaksiv ach b'sorei olav yichav. His meat, the meat of a dead person will hurt. V'nafshe olav tevel, and his nefesh will be available for him. V'amar Yitzchak, and Yitzchak learns from this pasuk, kasher rima l'meis. The rima eating through a mace is so painful. It's kamachat b'basar achai. It's like a needle puncturing a live person, so it's very painful. So you see clearly they do feel what's going on. So to Gemara, Amri b'tzari to do yadi. If there's something directly on them, gufa mamish, like a worm biting them, sure, that's directly there, that they'll know. But b'tzari d'achrina, but to know about what's going on in the world about other people, lo yadi, they wouldn't know. Is that so? But Maisa b'chassid echad, this David would love the story. Maisa b'chassid echad. There was a Maisa with a chassid. Shenasin dinu la'ani b'erev Rosh Hashanah. He gave tzedakah on Erev Rosh Hashanah. That's what people do on Erev Rosh Hashanah. B'shnei b'tzuris, but it was a hungry year, and he didn't even have money for himself, and he gave away his last penny. V'knitasa ishtoi, and because of that, Rabbi Levi always speaks on Rosh Hashanah. He always says over a story that one Rosh Hashanah night there was a knock on his door, and a man came to him with a suitcase. Rabbi Levi loves saying that story over. So that was this chassid echad. His wife threw him out of the house, but the problem is that his wife wouldn't take him in. So what's he supposed to do? V'halach v'lon b'beis hakvaros. He went and he slept in the beis hakvaros. And what did he do in the beis hakvaros? He started hearing things. V'shama shtei ruchos shemesapros zulazu. He heard two spirits talking to each other. And we're going to have to learn the Mashal in here because the Mashal is beautiful. But first we'll just see the Gemara at face value. So Amr Chad l'Chavida. One told the Chavida, Chaverti, my dear friend, it's Rosh Hashanah today. Hashem is pasking on everybody. Let's yent around a little bit and see what's coming down the pipe. I don't think we'll have time to learn the Mashal, so I'm just going to speak out that the Mashal speaks out that I'll need your help for this. There's nefesh, there's ruach, and neshama. Nefesh is a person's connection to the guf, right? Neshama is a person's connection to the maila, and ruach is what connects them. So he's going to explain that the ruach was hovering sort of between the guf, it's the kaver, and the chaya pargit. So the ruach's job was to move back and forth. So the ruach, one ruach to the other, let's go check out what's going on. I can't. You know why? I was very poor. I'm a young girl, and I was buried in a reed, some type of reed wrapper. So I'm embarrassed to go. So I think the Mashal also explains that she said, I'm still aduk to my guf because my guf didn't decompose, because once the guf decomposes, then the ruach goes up and stays stuck with the neshama. My guf has not yet decomposed because I'm protected. I was buried in a protective covering. If I was buried in a fine cloth, it would have deteriorated very quickly, and then I would be deteriorated like you are. You're free to go, but I still can't go. I haven't yet decomposed. Elachiyat, how about you go? And let me know what you hear there. Amrili, you'll tell me. She flew up there. She got back. What did you hear? We know there's three revius, there's three rains, and each rain is a time to plant. Whoever plants by the first rain, Borad Malkaisai, it's going to get hit by Borad, and Rashi brings down a pasuk in the next week's parasha, by the Mak of Borad, the things that were more mature, that were harder, they weren't as flexible, they get knocked down by a Borad. Younger plants, had they planted later, the plants would be younger, they would have been able to withstand the borad because they can roll with the punches, so to speak. So, and then of course borad came, because their produce planted earlier was already mature, and therefore it was rigid and it broke in the borad. So next year, so basically he was cornering the futures market, literally. Yeah. He had an insider's tip.
Yeah, but his wife let him back in. I don't see that part.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
Okay.
He made it rich. You answer the question. Did she let him back in? Halach v'lam b'veisek first. The Shema Oisin stay ruchas and Meshap Zumzu. Amr Chadal Chavit Aboy v'Nashet B'Olam v'Nishma Ma'achaya Pargad Ma Per Onis B'Olam. Again, Amr Chaverti Leikach Hamarti. Didn't I tell you last year that any Chayla Shani Kvur B'Machtel Shal Kanim? Meaning, again, the Mashal explained that the next year she thought maybe now you're decomposed, and she's
embarrassed. That being buried in
right. No, that's a Pashup shot. I'm thinking Mashal is Masber behind the scenes. What's going on? Elachiyat umatat shemas. Boy, and of course she will be embarrassed. That's how the story comes out later. Umatat shemas. Boy, for Imri. Holcha v'shato abroad. She told him, "Oh, Chavdo Chaverti ma shemata ma'achaya pargud." Amalo shemati shekalas rebbe shnia. She doesn't malkaisoi. There'll be terrible winds that'll blow it out. But stronger wheat, if it was planted earlier, would be able to withstand that wind. So he again, halach v'zarbe v'rishayna, shekal olam kula nishtaf v'shalay nishtaf. So he walked around in shul, shiny eid, oy day yaakov azagun el hakvist. He was able to figure out in advance. His wife says, "I'm not so impressed with you. I know exactly who you are. I know you are shaiti, you are shvans. Tell me what really happened." Amr lo yishtoi miptima shtakat shekal olam kula loka v'shalach loka v'achshav shekal olam kula nishtaf v'shalach nishtaf. I don't believe you're so smart. I don't believe you have techniques. Haknish kankap. I know you're the same shvans that I married. So what is it? So he had no choice. He had to tell her. I mean, first he tried to convince her how great he was. Maybe she'll start respecting him. But after he saw it's never going to happen, he said, "Okay, I'll tell you what happened." He told her all the things, including that there's one mace, the little girl in the city who's buried, Ba'anias. Amru, they said, they were waiting around in Costco, and they saw one thing going on sale, and the Isa Chassid grabbed it, and the mother of the girl said, no, I got it first. There's a whole fight. And she says, what's that shining? You can't afford this anyway, because I see you can't even afford to bury your child, and you want to buy this luxury item? It's not for you. I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I'm not sure if that's exactly what happened. That's just an example of what could have happened. Okay? So, Amrullah, she said, L'chi go, L'erech bitcha, I'll show your daughter, she kavur b'matzal shal kanim. So she humiliated this woman, and she spread a secret that she should never have known. L'shon acheres, halach v'lo mevesek first, he went back for his yearly stock tip, v'shama ois aruchas v'mashapes usu, they were talking, Amalo Chaverti boy v'noshet b'olam v'nishma ma'achaya pargid ma paranis b'olam. Amalo Chaverti, you know what? Hanicheni. I'm not interested. Let me go. You know why? Dvarim shabini levaynach. I see the private stuff that we're talking. V'anishmo b'nachayim. It's public knowledge. It's got out already. Alma, you see, Yadi, they know what's going on. Zoktumor, who said they know? Maybe. How did they hear what this guy said? With this wife, what was going on over there, that his wife told her. Who said maybe somebody who heard that katata died, and he told them, not that they heard it directly. So you don't have a eye from there. Tashma, the Ziri have a mafkid zuzagabe ushbezichse. Ziri would leave money by his landlord for safekeeping. Ad Aziv Ozel Lebeirav, when he went to yeshiva and came back, his landlord died. Shchiva, she died. So he needs money. So also Basol Chatzar Mavis, he went to the basic verse because he needed his money back. Amrullah, and he told her, Zuzi Heicha, where are my Zuzim? Amrullah, she said, Zil Sheklinu, Mitusi, Bitzanur, Dedasha, Beduchplan. Go to this place, and it's under the hinge of the door. The Emallah Le'ima, and do me a favor, tell my mother, once you're going already, send a message to my mother, to Tishtali Masrikoi Bugvusoi de Kucha, send my comb and my makeup bag. By the Polisa with the Rivkala, Dasal. I know she's in the departures terminal. She's going to be coming tomorrow. So you see, Alma Yadi, you see they know. So maybe people are already in the waiting room for their flight out. Maybe Domer is the Malach HaMavis. Maybe he already said, make place. We have a new visitor coming who's going to be moving here permanently. Make place. And then that's what I found out. It's already 6:54, so we better stop here. So I just want to speak to Mashal. The Mashal says, is it possible that a Chassid Echad, the holiest day of the year, Rosh Hashanah by night, is going to go sleep in the basic forest? Doesn't make sense. So he brings down, I think, from the Ritva, that Avad, this has never happened. This is a dream. So I knew you would like to. This whole thing is a dream, and it's a dream that the Chassid had. Again, he knew on Rosh Hashanah there's opportunity to learn Soidis. So in his dream, he connected, and he had this dream, which so Hitaka did corner the market. And he did beat the market, but it was all done
That
in the
wasn't
dream.
part of the dream?
so the
getting
third
rich
year-
wasn't part
No, that was real. In most places, that's also part of the dream. Here he woke up and he was still rich.
So the third year, it turned into a nightmare.